Good morning, fellow travelers. Solo Sue here. It is day 8 of our 10-day cruise. We are in Aruba, and I have a shore excursion. So the title of the shore excursion is Helmet Dive, De Palm Island Beach and Meal. It's supposed to be an all-inclusive resort, and within that I've also booked what they call a helmet dive, which is when you go underwater and they've got this helmet apparatus to let you breathe. So it's sort of another variation of not really scuba diving. So I thought I'd try it out, show you guys what it's like in case you were curious about that kind of a dive, and see what that shore excursion is all about. I have never been to De Palm Island. I have been to Aruba, so this should be fun. I'm going to go and get myself some coffee and breakfast and then see about making my way down to the pier and meeting my guide. I'll let you know what happens. We met on the pier and they were just right out there. It was very easy to find them, and the bus was right there already. And once we gathered everybody, then we just headed out. It was probably maybe half an hour drive at most, probably closer to 20 minutes. And they brought us to, it wasn't even a marina. It was basically a dock. And they took us on a ferry across a little channel to the island. The island was great. It had a whole kids splash zone for the little ones, you know, in one of those big buckets that empties and stuff. And it had some very tall water slides for the older kids and adults. It had great snorkeling. Oh my goodness, the snorkeling was awesome. And the snorkel equipment was free. It was included. They also had snuba as something you could pay for. And I thought they might have had kayaks, but I could be wrong. It was a helmet dive is what it's called. We had a safety talk, and then we walked out to where the helmets were lined up on the dock, and then there's stairs into the water, and then there's a railing, and you basically walk across the ocean floor wearing the helmet, which has an air hose attached to it, and there's a guy who's on the dock who's managing the air hoses and making sure that you have proper amounts of oxygen, which is good. And then we had 2 divers with us, and so basically one hand is always on the railing at the very least, and so you walk over to the front. He's got a lift, and he picks up the 75-pound helmet, and he lowers it over your head, and it rests on your shoulders. The water gets up to about here, and the rest is all air. And it's got really kind of odd glass, so it's distorted on the sides. And so it's supposed to always stay upright because that keeps it, level. So if the water's here and you put your head down, you're going to put your head down in the water. If you go like this and the whole helmet goes, then you've got air escaping out the back. So that's not good. So they stress that you need to stay upright. There were a lot of ships in port this time. There was an Oceania ship. I think it was Insignia was what it was called. There was the Free Winds. And then NCL Sky, Norwegian Sky, was here as well. Hello, fellow travelers. It is the end of, I guess this is day 8. We were in Aruba, did the De Palm Island beach and meal break, I think it was, with a helmet dive on the side. It was a really good day. They had all kinds of things sunk there. They had a plane, they had a bus, they had a car, a Jeep, and I think they had like a boat, as I recall. It was really cool. So there were a lot of fish, tons of fish. Of course, they also feed the fish. So they've got this cylinder where fish food can come out of, and so if they go like this, all the fish are just swarming around it. And the other thing is that they don't allow photography of any kind, no video, no stills, nothing. So I had to leave my GoPro in the locker. Oh, by the way, they do have lockers. Lockers are $5 to rent for the day, and they take a $10 deposit at the time. And when you give the key back, you get that $10 back. They also have cabanas that were to rent. And they go from, I think it was $269 up to like $330 or something. And you need to go to the website, which I will put in the description. And if you're going to that excursion, you need to be able to reserve those ahead of time. So I would, because they were all sold out by the time we even got on the island. So I walked around first. They have a bunch of other things. They have flamingos. They're only available part of the day. And when you first get to the dock, the marina where they have the ferry, someone from the company gets on and they tell you all the times for everything. And so the times for the restaurant when you can get the food there at the buffet, and the times for the flamingos, and the times for when you have to come back, and all that kind of stuff. And so it's good to take notes if you can on your phone or something. So we got there a little after 10, and we were supposed to be at the ferry dock again about 3:15. So that gives you an idea of how much time you have for the excursion. Our ship was all aboard at, I think it was 4:30, and we got back to the ship about 4 o'clock. The snorkeling, as I mentioned, was really, really good, and that's included in the price of the resort. They had these, fish were like this big and blue, and you'll see the footage. The snorkeling was just amazing. There was an area where they had us sit down on like little lawn chairs that were sunk underneath on the sea floor, and we were fairly buoyant. And so the diver will, he takes your hand and you go over to it, and then he seats you. And then I started floating up, and he pushed me back down again, and I had to wrap my ankles around the bottom of the legs of the chair to stop from floating away. It was kind of funny. Anyway, I have talked your ears off, and what did I do so I also did a time-lapse of our sail away from Aruba. Solo Sue signing off.